Chapter 17. The cafeteria is just as enormous as Pete said, stretching along the length of what looks to be the entire hall outside except for the bathrooms. Nobody's in sight though, and I let out a little pocket of air I didn't know I'd been canning up inside. Whoever else is in this facility must have been in here earlier. But unfortunately there are a bunch of corpses, at least one slumped at almost every metal table, and there are several rows of them. Some of the corpses' pale, melted-looking heads lie face down on the tabletops. Others droop over the backs of their seats. Some tables even have a few dead bodies slouched at them, one with an arm wrapped around the corpse beside it, a drippy smile on both their faces, as if they were sharing an intimate moment or joke with each other, right before they died, of course. A series of chills barrels down my spine, and I fight to keep my posture straight again. Oh God, not again. All these poor, innocent people dead. Bile rises in my throat, but I do the best to shove it back down. Not exactly appetizing when you're looking to sit down and eat a meal. At least there's no nasty stench, but still. This is horrible, I say. Yeah, I know. Looks like all these people died of the emergency acid alarm system, too. And right when they were on lunch break, no less. Yeah, it looks like it. We step into the room and continue to survey it. At the far end lies a metal counter with, also like Pete figured, what look to be a few refrigerators with freezers lining the wall behind it. A couple vending machines hug the wall on the right, too. Potted plants are placed throughout the room as well, though most of them look to be of the tropical, spiky type. Dad would have loved them. I touch the leaves of one standing by the doorway. Fake. I guess it'd have to be in order to be down here. Okay, let's make this quick. Pete strides toward the counter. As he does, a realization hits me. Grover Canyon State Park's cabin development our family was planning on staying at must have been all these scientists' living quarters while they were working on the Emeraldites all those years ago. It would explain the worn, overgrown path in the woods, and the one zigzagging down to the canyon floor that is this laboratory underneath it. The scientists must have used them to get to work and back every day. And then I see something else. The cabinets above the freezers, a few of them have been flung open, revealing several colorful cardboard boxes and cans of food inside. Not just that, the door of one of the 3 microwaves on the countertop is slightly ajar. I whip over to the appliance, passing Pete as I do, and I place a hand on top. Yup, just as I thought. It's warm. Someone's definitely been here, Pete. Like, just been here. And clearly they heated up some food. Yeah, looks like it. Maybe we shouldn't eat now. Maybe we should just go and find whoever's in this facility with us. Even though the thought ratchets up that fluttery feeling in my stomach again, I can't help but think it's a good idea. But Pete shakes his head. Nah, let's get some food and water in us. It'll give us the energy we need to explore the place. And, well, to just plain survive a bit longer down here. As though on cue, my stomach lets out another gurgle. I take it that's your official agreement? I chuckle. Yeah, I guess so. We heat up some of the canned food still in the cabinets, mostly soup and beans, and find some silverware in one of the drawers under the counter. No tooting, though, I say. Hold it in if you have to. Nothing but solid metal walls and floors and ceilings down here, remember? Pete laughs before sticking a spoonful of beans in his mouth. We're sitting in a corner of the cafeteria at one of the only tables not occupied by a ghastly corpse. It's a bit darker back here because the overhead lights don't quite reach this far, which is fine with me, especially since a corpse's head is bent over the back of a seat at the table right behind Pete, its waxen face gazing right at me. Even though it's partly cast in shadow, I try not to look at it. Still got that great sense of humor, eh? Pete asks. Even though we've been through such an unbelievably terrible time and are stuck in a cafeteria filled with dead bodies. I smile as I scoop up a spoonful of peas. What can I say? It comes naturally. Besides, I firmly believe you can find the humor in anything. I believe it. We're silent for a moment as we eat. I know you doodle on your sketch pad, he says. Huh? That came out of nowhere. What do you mean? Your sketch pad. The one you keep on your nightstand in your room. The one you're always tearing pages out of after you've drawn on them and tossing them in the trash can in your antechamber. Oh, and sometimes the living room and even kitchen garbage cans. You just figure nobody notices, don't you? I drop my spoon to the table with a light clatter. You go in my room without my permission? That's like totally unacceptable. Nobody's allowed in my room or antechamber without my knowing it. Not even Mom or Dad. Pete puts his hands up in the air, one of them holding his bean-smeared spoon. Whoa, calm down. Just every once in a blue moon. And to, I don't know, feel like you're around or something. Oh, I guess I can't blame him there. He and I used to spend loads of time together when we were younger, and it was super fun. But now that I've got so many friends, I don't really hang out with him very much anymore. And I only walk through your room and antechamber, that's all. I don't open any drawers or closets or anything, and I definitely don't go into your bathroom. Yeah, well, that's good. You wouldn't like what you see in there, believe me. Not really, though. I mean, it's just a bathroom. Still, even though his intentions seem pure and innocent for the most part, this is a serious breach of privacy. Pete, you really shouldn't. You're very talented, you know. Huh? What are you talking about? Your doodles and stuff. They're awesome. Sometimes I even pull them out of the garbage and look at them. Or even keep them in my own room for a bit. What? Really? I never would have guessed he'd do that. Had been doing that. In a billion years. This is so weird. Though kind of flattering in a way, I guess. And it's true, a couple of my art teachers over the years asked me why I didn't put more effort in their classes since I appear to have natural talent in them. I always actually tried super hard in math and science, but it never worked out all that well. Yeah, and they're funny too. Even though you don't put any words to them, you can kind of sense the humor oozing from them. You'd make a great cartoonist, you know, or comic book artist. I wrench myself up from the table, slam my hands to my hips. Take that back. Take that back right now. That is the absolute meanest thing someone's ever said to me in my entire life. But I'm smiling as I say it. I can't help it. And before I know it, I'm straight up laughing. So is Pete. You were always too funny for your own good, he says. And you know who you got that from, right? The shadow in this part of the cafeteria seems to deepen, embracing our whole table in its dark, icy grip. I slowly sit back down. Yeah, I say, almost at a whisper. Dad. Right. So, I mean, I don't get it. You have his great sense of humor, yet you ragged on him all the time. I scoff. Dad was a super lame-o. Just talking about Dad in the past tense stirs up that awful ache in my gut again, though. I try to shove it away again, though, without much luck. Yeah, but that's the point. He was purposefully super lame. Come on, Sandy, you know that was his sense of humor. I mean, if I know it, then you definitely do. And you know loads of people found it funny, too. I think back to my friend Carla and how she was always laughing at Dad's extremely cheesy jokes, and even, grotesquely enough, flirting with him in a way, although she would never admit it, and he would never reciprocate, of course. And like Pete said, she wasn't the only one who found him funny. Lots of people did, including my other friends and, well, me. I look away from Pete, toward the counter with the microwaves and hulking refrigerators behind it. Yeah, I know. So again, I don't get it. He was such an awesome, hilarious guy, and you know it. And his company's awesome too, and he's the one who gave you that awesome sense of humor. I let out a light sigh, still focusing on the counter. Yeah, I know. Dad didn't deserve all the crud I gave him, not a single bit, I guess. I guess at the end of the day, I didn't really appreciate him, the way he deserved to be. If I couldn't, I'd take it all back. In half a heartbeat, I really would. And now I'd never get the chance. The corners of my eyes burn, but I manage to stave off the tears. Oh, Dad, I'm so sorry. I force myself to continue. I just thought Mom was much cooler than him because she started such a huge, famous company, and, you know, was obviously so loved and respected for it all over the world. But that wasn't really fair. Dad was definitely cool in his own way, too. Exactly, you know. Sometimes I wish I had your and Dad's awesome sense of humor. Then maybe I'd have more than one friend. I shift my attention back to Pete's. He's now looking down at his beans, rhythmically dipping his spoon in and out of them, his shoulders more slumped than ever, poor guy. Pete, you do have an awesome sense of humor. Not as awesome as yours and Dad's. Well, I don't know about that, but you're definitely really funny, and you definitely recognize funny things too. I mean, you're always laughing at Dad's and my painfully lame jokes, so you've obviously got a pretty good sense of humor. He looks back up, a weak smile spreading across his face. Look, the reason you don't have many friends is because you're such a shy, quiet guy. People don't really get to know you because you don't talk all that much. Honestly, I think if you just opened up your yap a bit more, you'd be surprised how many friends you'd have. His smile grows into a full-fledged one, and he scoops up a spoonful of beans. Cool. Thanks, Sandy. That means a lot to me. You got it, bro stink. We eat in silence again. Oh, he snaps his fingers in his free hand. I just remembered something. There's something else I found on Dr. Khan's computer I forgot to mention about. Huh? What? What is it? Seriously, how could he have forgotten something?